Hello, my viewers. Welcome to my channel. And if you are coming here for the first time, I want to mention that I'm Rev.Dr.Samwel Nduati. And in my channel, I discuss issues to do with masculinities. Masculinities have to do with manhood, that is a man and his behavior. And I want to welcome you so much and ask you kindly that you can subscribe, you can view, and also share very, very widely, because my channel is purposely for education. So today, my viewers, I want to talk about masculinities, marriage, and family. And I want to begin, first of all, by defining these two terms, that is marriage and family. Sometimes they are confused. When we talk of marriage, we are talking of a union. And this union is between two people, and not just two people, but it's a man and a woman. So that is a marriage, and actually God has even talked about it. Marriage is very, very key. And therefore, I want to tell you that is the definition of marriage, a simple one. But let's come to family. Family is a very difficult term to define, at least today, at least in the modern times. Why? Because we have so many types of families that have come up. Maybe there before, my viewer, you have known that we have two types of families, and one of them is what we call the nuclear family, and that is, the father, the mother, and also the children. But also, you could remember that we have been talking about another family, not marriage, and this family is comprising of the father, the mother, the children, and also, the grandparents, and also cousins, and also aunties, and also uncles. This family, we call it extended family. But in the modern times, I want to tell you that there are so many types of families that have come up. So together with the nuclear family, which I've just told you, it comprises of the father, mother, and the children, and also extended family. We have also another family that is called single parent family. In the single parent family is where we have a father and his children, or a mother and his children, because you realize that probably the wife has run away and has left the children with the father, or the husband has also run away. We are hearing today that even husbands are running away and leaving the responsibility of taking care of the children with the mother. So that is a single parent family. And there are many reasons why we have single parent families. Apart from the reason that I have seen nowadays, that there are people who have decided, I'll remain a single parent. Okay, single but have children. So those ones have chosen that mode of family. But also, we also have other reasons why somebody can be a single parent. For instance, you can be widowed. A widower is a man whose wife has died and the children have been left. And we have seen so many of them actually taking care of their children. But also, we have at times, because of divorce, somebody can remain a single parent. The reason being, you cannot remain in a family which is a dysfunctional, where somebody is threatening another one's life. So that's why some people have remained as single parents. But also, we have another family called the compound family. Maybe this is very interesting. The compound family is made up of two people that have separated in their previous marriages, and they have decided to come together, and each person is having children that they bring into this new family. So therefore, that is called a compound family. And so therefore, these children have really to, live together, and they have to know that these two are their parents. But also, we have another family called the childless family. Couples may decide, let's get married, but getting children and rearing them is not our priority. Most of the times, these are people with high social status and with great professional expectations. So the role of parenthood actually is not a priority to them. That's a compound family. But also, we have another family, which we can call with separated parents. Here, we have, divorced people. people have divorced, but they had children. So when they have divorced and each one has gone their way, they still feel they have a role to play, particularly on the rearing of the children. We also have another family called the adoptive family. This adoptive family is made up of a couple that is not able to bear children, and because of that, they have decided to adopt a child. So this is called adoptive, a family. They have brought in a child that they have adopted, and they have really to love this child as their own child. Another family, which is very controversial, is what we call homoparental family. Homoparental family is a family made up of people or a couple of the same sex. What is this? It could be a man and a man. This is a gay couple. It could be also lesbians, a lady and a lady. But in their relationship, they have decided to adopt a child. So there is a child there they are rearing, although they are lesbians, although they are also homosexuals. And I want to say that this is very controversial in many countries. It is not acceptable. And as a Christian also, I know it's very controversial. It is not acceptable in the Bible. But remember, we are grappling today with the issue of LGBTQ. Now, another kind of family is what we call the single people. Single people family. Now, what is this family of the single people? Let me tell you before you question that, before you even ask me, is it really a family of a single person? Now, experts, in research are estimating today that around 11% of today's families are made up of single people. A single person may decide also to adopt a child, but he or she has decided that I will not get married, that I will not marry. Then we also have families that we call step families. Now, these step families come as a result of remarriage after divorce. People have divorced, they have decided to remarry, and therefore when they have decided to remarry, the new husband or wife or even the spouse and their children from a previous marriage, they have relationships, and therefore we can call it the step families because there is a stepfather, there is also a stepmother. Maybe you could say we have mentioned this already, but it's good to know we call it step families. Now, another family is the grandparents' family. The grandparents could be taking care of their grandchildren. And where have these grandchildren come from? From their own children, who probably are not able to take care of their own children, and therefore they have left them with their grandparents. These families are increasing every day, and especially in Africa, where maybe girls would actually have sexual relationships, maybe with rich people. They are not married, they are not able to take care of their children, then they leave them with their own parents. So that's a family of grandparents. But grandparents' family could also come as a result of probably their own biological children, passing on because of diseases, and therefore the children that remain, they are taken care of by their grandparents. But let me also talk about the child-headed family. The child-headed family is whereby a sibling is taking care of the brothers and sisters, and this normally is the eldest child. It's burdensome. Is something that we need to think about as a society, how we can help such families, which we call child-headed families. Finally, there is another one which is very interesting, what we call a pet family. These, young people today, the Generation Y, they are having some kind of affection to animals, the pets. And they value these animals just like the way we would value human beings. And they want to stay with those animals without actually getting married or marrying. And therefore, that family, we call it a pet family. Now, let me say, because I started by saying it's difficult to define a family. I want to say here that although it is difficult, we have had a lot of research that has been done. and people have tried to define what is a family. For instance, a scholar called Gabaitse articulates that the family actually is a basic unit among diverse social structures, and it offers the first line of socialization. Socialization comes particularly from the family institution. And somebody called Kimani and Kombo, actually they have said that the family is usually the major source of basic necessities of life and health: love, tenderness, adequate food, clean water. It's a place and time for rest, even clothing and sanitation, and it provides all these necessities. But therefore, combining all these, let me say, a family is a basic unit of any society. It's a basic unit of the church. So have good families, they will bring us a good nation. Have good families, they are going to give us a good church. So therefore, the family is the basic unit of any society. So my viewers, let me also talk about the benefits that we get in a family. One is that a family is so good because during the challenging times, that's where you run, and you can rely on the family. Life is really challenging. I know, maybe my viewer, even now, you're feeling challenged where you are. I want to tell you, you can only get the comfort that you need from the family. Families can be an essential source of affection and also encouragement. Number two, actually, is where you get encouraged. It's where you get love. Just imagine the hassles of every day. Just imagine what we go through in our places of work. Just imagine how we are bashed by many people out there and they call us names. But when you go back to your family, you realize that people are really welcoming you and they really encourage you in what you're going through. Now, another thing is that families foster a sense of belonging. So, you feel, that sense of belonging because of the family. That's where you belong. You cannot belong to, even if you go to another family, you still feel that I want actually to belong to my own family. So therefore, family is very important. Another thing, people raised in close families, we are told in research that they develop healthier relationships throughout their lives. You belong to a healthy family and you remain healthy in matters of relationships even thereafter. Did you know, my viewer, that even young men marry their mothers in quotes? Did you know that? And the girls get married to their to their fathers in quotes. If their fathers were so good, they are looking for a man who has the qualities of their father. And if the mother was so good, a man is looking for exactly a woman who looks like, the mother. I don't have time, my viewer, to explain a lot about that, but it is true. Now, let me say also, family relationships are linked to a person's mental health. Mental health is very, very key. If you belong to a family where issues are going on well, you share with your family, maybe at the dinner time, and when the families are healthy, even your mind is healthy. And if you go to sleep, you're going to find that you're getting sleep very easily. Now, another point here is that the quality time with the family is linked to better academic performance. So it means that if your family is functioning well, as a student, as a learner, you're going to find that you're going to perform very, very well. And I want to say that I've dealt with students many times, actually for a long time. And at one point, I remember when I was a member of a board in a certain school, and the girl was not performing very well. When she was called to explain what was happening, and she started, and because she was starting to fail, then she explained that while she's in school, she's still worried about her family. Because every time she goes home, at night when she's asleep, she would hear the father actually, beating their mother. And therefore she's in school now and she's wondering, is my mother back home being beaten by my father? And therefore she dropped in the performance. Now, another thing, families teach values. You can imagine how society has really been going through challenges. Many people do not have values. Many people are ending up into alcoholism, drugs and substance abuse, and actually they are suffering because they were not, the families they grew in, they did not have values. So that's why I said a good family, and it brings a good society. Now, healthy families form what we call the backbone of a healthy society. I want to tell you today that if we want to have a healthy society, then we need to come up with the strategies of helping our families. That's why I thought it's good to talk about this issue. Maybe you are wondering, today I'm not talking about the connection with masculinity, because in the next video, I want to continue sharing matters of the family. Even when we shall come later on to masculinities, you're going to understand how masculinities are connected with the functioning of the family. But I want to end this episode by referring to what we call the Christian family. Now, the Bible is very clear about marriage and family. The Bible begins with marriage, it ends with marriage. Look at it this way. If you read the book of Genesis, there is a marriage there. The marriage is between Adam and Eve, and as a result, they get children. Although we see some dysfunctions there because Cain killed Abel, but I want to tell you the Bible begins with marriage. In fact, it also tells people, especially a man, he's told that for this reason, a man is going to leave his father and his mother and be united. He cleaves to his wife, be united with his wife. And therefore, they'll be blessed even with the children. And therefore, it begins with marriage. And then at the end, that's the book of Revelation, there is also another marriage. Which is this? The marriage between the Lamb of God, that is Jesus Christ, and his church. The church is the bride, and Jesus is the bridegroom, and he has presented that church without wrinkles. Did you know also God actually has given us a lot of marriages and families in between Genesis and Revelation? In fact, in some places, he refers to himself as a husband and the Israelites as his wife. And when they misbehave, at times, he's not very happy. So why does God use such a relationship to explain such a very important message? It's because he values marriage. If you have not been valuing your marriage, if you have not been valuing your family, please start it today, because God is counting on you to have a good family, which will bring a good nation, which is also going to bring a good church. And therefore, I want to say also, even when you read the book of Ephesians, chapter number 5, it talks clearly about a relationship between the husband and the wife. And the husband is told, can you love your wife as much as Jesus loved his church? Therefore, and the wife is also told, can you respect your husband as much as the church is respecting Jesus Christ? And so I want to wish you well in your family. I want to pray for your family to continue standing firm. Don't just say, my family is one in the whole world. Do it well. Perform your functions well as a family. And if another person does it, and another one, we are going to have a good nation. Because where is corruption coming from? Dysfunctional families. Thank you so much. Let's meet on Friday as we continue with another episode. God bless you.